Welcome everyone once more. I'm very happy about this meeting today, and I'm happy for many reasons. First of all, I really had a beautiful process and a case study with a client of mine that deserves sharing. You know, like some things should be shared, so other people can use the knowledge, the experience, and be inspired and adapted to your practices. And another reason is that I'm very fascinated by the topic of today, the topic of beauty, of art, creativity in our life. And I love to combine it with the professional field. So I just want to share that, inspire, and encourage you also to approach your practices similar way. Welcome. There are people who already took part in some of my courses, webinars, so I'm very happy always to see you back again, and it's so good that you keep in touch and you stay connected. Welcome new coming people. I'm also glad that the topic is of interest to you. And yes, I will today speak about coaching and well-being, but specifically about beauty, culture, creativity, which became like core themes in my life coaching practice, in helping people to live happier lives. But more and more with time, this part of art, creativity, and practices that had to regulate lifestyle and daily life became like important to me to make the coaching successful. And I entitled this piece for today, the In Search of Beauty, Coaching and Photography. And I will specifically talk about beauty as well. In the welcoming email, I have posed that question, how, for those of you who had the chance to see my welcoming email a few days ago, how does beauty help you to live a beautiful life? And I will leave you with that question forever, because I think it's a valuable question. How does beauty help you to live a beautiful life? And we could also talk about what is a beautiful life. To start, I'd say that in everyday life, most of people today focus on planning, setting goals, doing, achieving. But a happy life is not only about doing. It's a lot about feeling. It's just about how we feel in our everyday life. And I could say the same about coaching, that coaching is frequently associated with doing. It is goal-oriented. It's about striving for something better, different. And it very often has this future focus. But at the same time, we speak a lot about mindfulness that is associated with being and with the present moment and with accepting what is, in fact, enjoying and appreciating and seeing, noticing really what is. And I would like to quote here Liz Hall, who wrote a very famous book, Mindful Coaching, How Mindfulness Can Transform Coaching Practice. She wrote, I suggest we start by looking at being and doing. It has the ability to really get under our skin, because as well as putting us on spot of what we want to make possible for our coaching, it is about what it means to be human. And I believe that interventions or other interventions mental health, well-being, art therapy, other interventions will address goals and action plans, but in fact, an entire human experience. And In Search of Beauty, Coaching and Photography is the webinar that is based on case study. And I could call that case study Going from Shadows to the Sunlight, literally and metaphorically. It's on combining coaching and photography. It's about developing healthy living habits, self-reliance, and vitality. I'd like to first introduce you to this case study and talk a little bit about beauty, creativity, and various elements of the process I will describe. And after that, I will invite you to a dialogue, to conversations, first in the breakout rooms, and then sharing reflections together. So now I'll share my slides, which will help me to navigate you through the topic. And first of all, let me shortly introduce myself. So my profession, I'm a coach and mentor. At the same time, I'm a slow jogging trainer. So I combine a lot the well-being and really the movement and the physical energy to my work as well. I'm as well an author and book publisher. In terms of my coaching accreditation, I'm an EMCC coach and mentor, as well as the Polish Coaching Chamber accredited coach. And in my practice, since several years already, I developed this approach to photography in coaching, which many of you know what I mean. It's both active photography when we take photos, as well as using existing photos, clients' personal photos. But today, we're going to talk about active photography. And I also teach that with my courses that are that have the ICF credentials. So that's about me. Just to give you an idea, I'm also writing books, and I've already published several books, and most of them are related to photography. And what I want to say, like the first sentence, is that beauty is everywhere. And if you want to work with beauty, we are just working with everything around us. And I would like to ask you that question that was in the pre-work. Oh, I'm sorry, I stopped the recording, not intentionally. Once more. So, how beauty helps you to live a beautiful life. And I encourage you to write in the chat. Let's see what ideas come to your mind, to your heart, when we ask ourselves this question: how does beauty help us to have a beautiful life? Let's just see. Maybe some of you will want to share. I will open the chat. There's a lot of hello in the chat, which is lovely. I find it nourishing, yeah. Makes me grateful, wonderful, beauty, serenity, peace of mind, great, calming, yes. Yes, you know, everything. I feel like it's like fuel, yes. Serendipity experience. Let's see more. Yeah. All for life. You see, so what you're writing now, you can keep going. It's about so many nice, pleasant feelings, that it's about good emotional state that we want. And so many powerful emotions and states of minds that actually connect us to the sense of purpose in life. Taps into my inner child, seeing things for the first time with curiosity and wonder, happiness, gratitude, hope, connection. So many elements that connect us to ourselves, to our spirituality, to our humanity, to our intellect as well. Yes, great, wonderful. Thank you for your comments. So that's why I think it really makes sense to talk about beauty and include that to the work we do. Good. Just to introduce myself a little bit more, a bit my ideas about beauty. I always appreciated beauty, and I had a certain experience that somehow prompted me to talk about beauty in my work. In 2014, it's almost 10 years ago, I walked alone 100 kilometers along the Polish coast. And every day I listened to silence, to the wind, the water, and the birds. I watched the waves coming and going. And of course, I took photographs of the sand, shells, stones, various objects that the sea left on the beach after nights, stormy nights. And when I returned home, I felt a very deep calmness and a sense of purpose, just like that, just from being. I felt very connected to myself and to the universe. And I thought that beauty is such a natural medicine. And my reflection, which I posted on the social media in the last days, my reflection from that journey, which you can see here, was like almost like a poem. I'm like the waves of the ocean that come and go. And the more into the far I go, the closer I arrive to myself. And I remain ungraspable, yet I feel that I am. And that experience really encouraged me to go beyond the typical approach to coaching. I just told myself, why not to use activities that connect people to their creativity, to the sense of beauty, appreciation of beauty, just to support the whole change in the process, to make it more powerful. Yeah. And today, I would like to show you this case study in search of beauty. And I will show you a process that was specifically designed for a person that combined three main elements: coaching, photography, taking photos, and the contact with nature. And the process is from the beginning 2020, when the pandemic started. So the story was the following, that in early spring 2020, during the first month of the pandemic, I started working with a woman who was very young, 24 years old, and she was really dramatically losing her energy. And she could no longer work. She could not longer have the strength to achieve her goals. What happened is that she failed in the college, she failed the exams, and she could not continue studies. And she suffered from depression. And this depression, the state was just getting worse from week to week, and the person was losing the self-confidence, the fight in herself. The situation was that the university where she studied and the student's house were closed, which you know what happened in the beginning of the pandemic. Also, the contacts with friends stopped. So she returned to her mother's house. And again, she found herself in this role of a daughter at home in the house. and she was losing self-confidence. She was not independent anymore. She really felt uncomfortable. And the picture which you see on the left, I made it in PowerPoint, but in fact it was initially my hand drawing. It represents like three figures. It's like this Russian babushka, when you have one inside another one and inside another one. This green, this is how I understood, actually, when I reflected, when I thought about her. I thought that the green figure is she inside her, true her inside herself, who was creative, and she had dreams, full of dreams. There, the one that is inside her, but it's not expressed. It's not expressed outside. Then we have this brown figure. This brown figure is she in the role of the daughter who returned home. I was not independent, and was kind of a problem for the family. This is what I heard from her. And the gray figure outside is how she looked for the others, how the others people have seen her, but also how she could be seen, sad, depressed, not very active. And this picture captures as well how I understood her need related to her perception of the world around her. Because to change how she lived her life, she needed to change the way she perceived the world around her. The idea was that she needed to stop processing the world around her as a stressful place where people might hurt her, where she was rejected, because her body reacted with stress to these thoughts, and her mind responded also with this running away from the world, from the people. That's how the depression took over, and she needed to start seeing the world around herself as an inspiring place to live, and as an inspiring place to live, to create, where she could realize herself. So I just thought that I could just add this art and this contact with this world around to show her this world as a place to live and self-fulfill. In terms of the coaching, her objectives were very operational, typical coaching, I would say, objectives: to mobilize herself to study and to pass exams, to change her lifestyle. She wanted to start getting up early in the morning and going to the bed early enough so she would not be totally tired. And she wanted to stop being addicted from social media at night, especially. She wanted to stop this vortex, this spiral, of sadness and depression that caused this withdrawal from life. She also wanted I want to find inspiration in life. I want to start creating something. This was also her objective. And finally, she also mentioned the fifth goal. She told me on the first session, I also have a goal related to my poems. I wrote poems. She published as a self-publisher. She published a poetry book, and she wanted just to show it to other people. She wanted to be brave enough, courageous enough to show it to other people. So these were her objectives. And this is the process that I created for her. I have suggested to introduce photography to our work. She accepted. Photography was kind of an impetus for her to start creating, to go out into the world. And it was also a way to help her externalize these inner images that illustrated her experiences. her love for beauty, her sensitivity. In fact, what I thought was that if she can go out and start photographing, the thoughts and the feelings arising currently from her sensitiveness that were source of suffering could be transformed into art and become source of satisfaction. She was so sensitive, feeling so hurt by others, but she could use that sensitiveness to just show the beauty of the world. I hoped that this approach would somehow kickstart the energy and this motivation to achieve other life goals. And here I have made also a drawing, coaching, photography, contact with nature, this transformative connection, as I call that, with the self and the external world that enabled these pleasant emotions, curiosity, creativity, and also, thanks to photography, producing tangible results, having photographs. I will come back to this in a moment. This is just like highlighting now. There were 3 elements, and each of these elements had its role. So the basic structure was coaching, and the coaching was to help the client to understand the ways of thinking, so her internal narratives. And I wanted her and the coaching helped her to understand this thinking that were having this bad effect on her motivation and her motivation to achieve important life objectives. Also, coaching was to help her to identify actions to help her successfully begin to achieve these objectives. Yeah. Photography, I have seen photography as a source of new perspectives, as a source of pleasurable emotions and inspiration. And I hope that through that her life energy could grow, and especially this curiosity and commitment. Photography was a way to feel the satisfaction of achieving a goal every day and self-realization every day. And finally, contact with nature, always at the same time in the morning, immediately upon the waking up. Her task was to go out to her garden, and that was intended to stimulate vitality, the direct focus on the beauty of the world around, and a creative action, before she would fall into this negative vortex of emotions. Because what was happening is that she lost that energy, and she was staying late at night, looking at social media. She was tired in the morning. She was not getting up. She was staying in the bed till noon. And of course, the day was over already. So the whole idea was that she can immediately after getting up in the morning, dress up, go outside to the garden and look for the beauty, look for something inspiring, take a photo. And this is how to start the day. And so that was the process. Maybe a comment about coaching. I will comment this later as well, but the coaching sessions took place every 3 weeks. And additionally, once a week, we had a short call to check how she was feeling. So a typical life coaching, once 3 weeks, but she had this daily routine of going outside, grounding herself in nature and beauty, and connecting to herself and contacting me as a coach to have that relationship with another person, with the sparring partner. I will give you more details in a moment. But before, what was the role of the creativity? That's important, and this is also part of the knowledge that I want to share with you today. Why creativity? We very often talk about creativity as something very extraordinary in our lives, while creativity really manifests itself in everyday life by solving problems. If we solve problems, if we find new solutions, we get out of various impasses and we take actions to develop. This is creativity. And if we do so, it positively shapes our resilience to failure, to difficulties. It also contributes to satisfactions. I'm sure that you all know this experience that you solve a problem, you take an action, and you're just happy about it. You're satisfied. I did it. I made that call. I cleaned that. Yes, even simple daily things, but they give us the sense of continuity, sense of progress, and the progress is important. I have used here, and I'm showing you this definition from positive psychology, and I found that definition very useful. Creativity encompasses the ability to discover new and original ideas, connections, solutions to problems. It's a part of our drive as humans, fostering resilience, sparkling joy, providing opportunities for self-actualizations. An act of creativity can be grand, big, and inspiring, such as crafting a beautiful painting, designing an innovative company, business. But an idea doesn't need to be artistic or world-changing to count as a creative thing. Life requires daily acts of ingenuity and novel workarounds. And in this sense, almost everyone possesses some amount of creativity. And it's important to remember that. And coming back to my client, I would like to quote her, and just to show you how that role of creativity can be seen in what she was writing to me in short messages every morning when she returned from the garden. Just few examples, and I will read them now. This is from today. Unfortunately, a bit cold, but yesterday there was a beautiful sunset. You can see you can feel the energy, how she is communicating. A bit earlier today, but I have a lot of energy. Today I noticed the first yellow almost like autumn, leaf among the green. I found what I like about movement, walking and contact with nature, greenery plus exercise, and improving my silhouette. It's just two things, and they can make you happy and give energy for the whole day. Thank you. This is what she was writing to me. Thank you, because maybe without the idea of grounding, I wouldn't have come across that. There is something that can make me happy and energized for the whole day and even for the next one. So you can see, and these are the comments she sent with her photo every morning. After a few days, this perspective started. Now I would like to, so that was about creativity, now about the role of the beauty. The appreciation of beauty manifests itself in our life by noticing that something is special, unique, or good. And beauty can be seen in people, in other beings, in the environment in which we live, in people's talents, in people's behaviors, yes. And it also manifests itself in taking care of ourselves, of aesthetics of oneself, of aesthetics of the surrounding. And it's very much associated with the feelings of pleasure, harmony, and clarity. An appreciation of beauty and excellence is one of the elements of the personality, of human personality, and the powers of human minds. that help to see our everyday life human condition as something more than just existence, just survival. And appreciation of beauty and excellence is one of the character strengths in the VIA character strengths methodology, the positive psychology stream, which some of you might know. I gave you also the definition, and you can look for more on the viacharacter.org page. The appreciation of beauty and excellence is a strength within the virtue category of transcendence, one of the 6 virtues, and the others are courage, wisdom, humanity, fairness, harmony, self-regulation. So it's among these 6 virtues. And the transcendence, kind of a spirituality, yes, describes strengths that help us connect to the larger universe, provide meaning. The other strands that belong to this group are gratitude, hope, humor, spirituality. It's just a part of us as humans. And so it's really like very important to the wholeness, and how this role of the beauty can be seen in clients' words in this case study. Just simple comments from her. These colors, I adore them. I could see a beautiful sunrise. The sun is warming up beautifully today, and I wish you had sunshine like this in Warsaw too. She was not from Warsaw, she's not living in Warsaw, I'm living in Warsaw. So this is what she was writing to me, and you can see how positive it is. It's positive, it's not sad. So every day, such a thought, it really changes the mind and the way she was proceeding the world around her as a beautiful place, inspiring place. And these are only few selected pictures that she took, and I'm showing you these pictures with her consent. And I encourage you now and invite you to have a look, watch what you see, and I invite you to start writing in the chat what you see and what comes to your mind when you see these pictures. Every day, for more than 2 months, every morning, she was sending me 1, 2, sometimes 5 pictures. And I just was responding with an emoticon like smile or have a good day, nothing more. But she had that connection with me. She was showing that work. And these were her messages from the morning. So just maybe I will open the chat and see. So what you're writing: grounding, calmness, exploration, connections, taking steps, colors, textures, discovery, peace, recovery, reconnection, beautiful. Contact, touches, connection, going out, standing, still, standing, yes, action, appreciation, colors. She's grounding herself, absolutely. She's connecting to the earth, to the nature, to the world, to herself, absolutely. And now if we come back to her objectives, she has very operational objectives, but to achieve these objectives, like really living independently, she needs something. She needs not to be afraid of the world. She needs to be connected to what she wants, what she needs, and to this self-belief and confidence that she can live independently. So I consider this part of the whole process, even if it was like completing the coaching process with these activities, as a critical one, as a game changer. Yes, so what you can see in these photos, she really took a lot of photos, and from day to day, she was like taking more and more. You can see legs, feet, ground. She is on her legs. Look how incredible it is. She's so many times taking photos that she's standing. It's like a strong message. I'm on my feet. She walks, she stands alone, not lonely, but alone. As you wrote, many shadows of the green, many colors, never the same, variety, vivid colors, juicy colors. She's seeing these colors. She's composing these colors. She's making compositions. She also composes herself, her body, parts of her body with the nature. She's playing about these compositions. She's also taking photos of how she touches the nature. Yeah, she and the nature. She is like in some of the photos, totally touching and connected to the nature, to the world she's living in. Hands touching life. Nature is life. You don't see the photographs, and she never sent me one single photo walking on the asphalt, on the road, or sending me the colors of gray world, but she never did it. She always sent this connection to this vivid world around her. Yeah. Searching beauty is anything we come across with, makes it possible to adapt a positive perspective, enriches my soul and makes my days brighter. Yes, beautiful comment. And all of your comments are just wonderful. Yes, I wanted to comment this also with this quote from Thich Nhat Hanh. You probably know this name of a great master of mindfulness, Thich Nhat Hanh, who wrote in his book, The Miracle of Mindfulness, be yourself. Life is precious as it is. All the elements for your happiness are already here. There is no need to run, strive, search, or struggle. Just be. And of course, objectives, growing, this is important. Action, doing, it's about life. But not only, it's also about being. So I found that quote really beautiful to summarize that she could discover through this process that in coaching, she could discover that she can do, and she was discovering and being aware of the ways how she can achieve her objectives. But this process also helped her to discover that she is and she can be herself with her sensitivity, and that she's living a precious life in the beautiful world around her, and that happiness can be there already, and that she can feel that joy and happiness, creativity right now in the morning. Every morning she gets up. That was for me so important. It is in fact such a simple process, but of course the first days were not easy. She struggled. That's why I thought, for that process, I will be with her every morning, so she can send me that photo every morning, and I will just shortly respond that yes, I'm there, I've seen that, have a good day. So because I thought that she just needed to have that connection to another human being, a partner, that she can overcome this inner difficulties that she had. And that process worked. So the result was that really her situation from day to another was improving. The situation was improving. These are the results, 6 main important objectives she has achieved after 4 months. After 4 months, she took up studies anew and she passed the exams and she returned to the college. She moved out of the house of her mother to the student house again because it was reopened, and she took up an independent living. She definitely regulated her daily rhythm, getting up in the morning and going to the bed earlier. She understood she just needed to be very mindful about that. And what was beautiful, she returned to creative activities. She had many passions, and she, for instance, started painting again. She loved painting. She loved photography, so she was inventing various challenges for herself, and she was photographing. So she took up painting, photography. Also, she collected flowers in her student room, and she took regular exercise, Nordic walking, for instance, rollerblading, and one of our last sessions were to help her to how she could engage more in social life in the university. So she engaged more in the social life with students. So this was really amazing, but she did it. And I can tell you she's still in touch with me, like for Easter or December, Christmas, or for holidays. Sometimes she sends me best regards and best wishes. She keeps that contact, and she's doing well. She's having an independent life. And what I would like to also to mention today is that that process that you just have seen is based also on this idea of 4 elements of our energy that we need in our life. The physical energy, it's about our body. And the physical energy conditions our mental energy, intellectual power, and spiritual energy. I see that there is a little, the second is emotional. The physical energy is our body, is serving as a basis naturally. It's about how we feel physically. It's how healthy we are. It's how we feel fresh, fit, strong. And it's very much conditioned by sleep, eating, and movement. And if we have a good physical energy, if we feel good in our body, we feel well. It's so simple as it is. If we are strong, fresh, recovered, like well slept, eaten, we feel good, we feel joy. Emotionally, we feel good. So it's about how happy we are, how good we feel. And if we feel good emotionally, we are relatively happy, we feel good. It enables our intellectual energy. How well we can focus on things, on our work. We can focus on problem solving, achieving goals, if we feel good, if we're happy, and if we're healthy. It also immediately, if we feel good, we have this curiosity, we look for solving problems, we look for new things, we can have this perseverance to follow through things, and we can listen to others. We have more like passions. We are more resistant intellectually if we feel good. And this leads to spiritual energy, to the satisfaction, to the sense of fulfillment. Because if we feel good, we're happy, we achieve things, we grow, we have a sense of purpose in life, we achieve, we are fulfilled, and we feel part of the universe. We feel part of the society, of groups, of teams, of family, because we are in and we create something, we do something for the others, with the others, being near the others. And it's all connected, and we need these 4 elements. So that process that I just described is about that. It's based on these elements. And I just mentioned a few assumptions to summarize that, and I will invite you into a conversation in a moment, to a dialogue, that the mental and physical health are one. And I can share with you that more and more my coaching practice includes also something about physical energy for my clients. Also that creative activities allow people to raise above everyday life facts. Creativity brings hopes, something extra, something more just solving problems. And also that we need some continuity. Sometimes any intervention we do, sometimes once 2 weeks, once 3 weeks can be not enough. But if we do something consistently, if there is a continuity, we achieve. And the achievement strengthens self-esteem and our identity if we become someone with some practice. And about photography, photography makes possible to find shapes for what we feel, think, and it helps us to describe our life, our experiences. So it just becomes like almost tangible. We connect to ourselves. And something about the role of the coach, acceptance and compassion shown to the suffering person. I consider that as a gentle way to motivate and encourage, not saying you can do this. I was not sure in the beginning if she can do it, but we gave a trial, we gave a chance. Based on that case study, I wrote an article that I will soon publish, and I will send you this article as you are here. I'm writing more, but she considered psychotherapy, therapy, pills, but she didn't want, because she tried that before some years ago, and it didn't give her sustainable results. And she said, I won't really make an effort myself. So that's important to comment. So I was not sure, but we said, okay, within the frame of coaching, supported with something that is a regular practice that uplifts the spirit and makes you move and create, we'll try. My beloved quote from Vincent van Gogh: there is nothing more creative, truly artistic than love people. Yes. And there will be an article. So I'll stop my soon. I stop my slides now. I told you what was the process. It's absolutely not a typical process for a coach, because it requires going like really beyond what is defined or structured typically. It's on combining different approaches. And by that case study, I also wanted to pass this message to you, that as long as you know what you do, I believe you can do what is the best for the client. And just if something works for you or for the others, you can always try. Being mindful of what happens, looking at the results, monitoring these results, being, not blind, but sometimes we can help people much more than we could even expect.